You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey all, welcome to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 139. My name is Clark from 5 Card Guys on Instagram and 5cardguys.com. And co-hosting with me as usual is Hyung of Integrity Sports Cards and John, who is Trade You at Recess. All right, off the top guys, PSA has graded this one card now more than 100,000 times and it still has a gem rate of just 4%. That card, of course, is the iconic Ken Griffey Jr. 1989 Upper Deck rookie card. Now, my question is, value-wise, do you think it can go up from its current value at around 1900 US? All right, that's the last sold, because it's been pretty stable there for the past year or so. It's dropped from 5,400 during the hobby hype. Obviously, a lot of things have dropped since the hobby hype of early 2021. But I guess the reason why I ask is that there's obviously a bunch of Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck cards that are continually being submitted to PSA, hence the high pop count, and the gem rate really hasn't changed much. You know, it's kind of been consistent at 4%. So do you think it stays that way or not?
Do you think PSA state keeps it that way?
that's
the
the underlying question. Yes.
Yeah. So yes, so one, I'll answer my own question. I think PSA is going to keep that 4%, if not less, because they're. Remember, this is the infamous most printed card, right. You know, and there's backstories you could do your own research on. So yeah, I think. Well, one, I was looking for pop reports pre-COVID, and I believe at about 2020 or 2019, the pop was 2,400.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So now it's pop 4,000. So that will just give you an idea of the amount increased in the height of kind of like, and during that time, I was checking prices. They're averaging at about, you could get one for $350. Right. So that was when I was buying them, a bunch of them, you know, some even at 600 at one point, because I still thought they had room. And then they probably peaked. I forgot what we said they peaked at, but I remember I sold at around 2K, and they've kind of settled. I know they went higher, but they kind of settled in just under 2,000. And that's what really worries me is like, don't get me wrong, this card is the most iconic. I'd say not the most iconic, but it goes up there with iconic baseball cards, top iconic color fillers. Yeah, for sure.
Especially for people our age. Yeah.
Especially for people our age, people who are back into the hobby, they understand this was the and there's a crazy backstory in on this Griffey card, because he wasn't even supposed to be on the roster. The chase in the 89 Upper Deck was Greg Jeffries, right? So like Ken Griffey Jr. was this kid who hasn't played, you know, a single game past AA. Or single A at the time, you know, he was the, you know, first card of that star rookie subset, right? So it was a big gamble on Upper Deck's part that kind of played off, and you know, the image is iconic. So there's that part in the hobby side that like I love the backstory. So it's like, I think the demand for that card on the PSA 10 is gonna be always there to keep the price stable. But in terms of growth, I think it's going to struggle and we've seen it, you know, even in a down market, it's stabilizing at 2K. Even in an uptrend market, it didn't really it kind of peaked and then kind of went back to reality. And the high pop count of 4,000, you know, which is relatively high there, but luckily there's enough demand for it. So if there's all of a sudden a less demand for it, which I don't foresee, if by time I only see like in 10 years, that card's going to be more demanded in my opinion. Right. But it all depends on the rate, how PSA grades and how many more these things show up at the end of the day. Right. But like, I don't love the pop count. That's what I don't love. And $2,000 is one, but I do say I want one in my collection.
Right. What's the pop count at?
4,000.
Just
4,000.
just over. Yep.
Yeah. There are a lot. I mean, this is one of those cards where, again, I'm going to go back to the notion of end user. Lots, right? Like our age, group of guys coming back into the hobby. Like this is the card that started it all. It's very much sentimental. So to have a PSA 10 version, whoever's buying this card, I would say would probably is going into their collection display case, not for sale, you know. So I could see the price being pretty steady. Are we gonna, you know, is it gonna go up or down? You know, is it gonna the gem rate gonna stay at 4%? I think the gem rate is gonna continue to stay. Like I can't foresee more PSA 10s if I'm being really honest. Like most of these boxes, like Upper Deck, Stadium Club from the Junk Wax era, they got a bit of that glossy finish, and unless you had stored that box somewhere perfectly dry and dark, there's a good chance when you open those packs, they're going to be slightly stuck together. And when you know, even if you carefully peel it, there's probably some microscopic damage that happens at the minimum. So it'll be tough for a lot more newer PSAs to come out, even if people happen to be ripping open boxes or whatever they're doing with these cards. So yeah, I can see the gem rate staying the same.
You saying that, it's clear to note that 89 Upper Deck, people were known to know the collation of the Griffey rookie. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of packs. So you buy loose packs, most likely you're not going to get the Griffey. Just saying. So if you're whatever packs are out there, the people that knew where the Griffies were, they had the packs, right? So that's why there's a big collation issue in terms of how when they produced the Griffey rookie card, everybody knew where they were essentially, right? So a lot of people, and then there's stories where they bought a lot of single packs off eBay, like hundreds, no Griffey. Right. Maybe one Randy Johnson rookie. So just something to note if you're out there thinking that, I'm just gonna, you know, pull a Griffey and submit. Most likely, like it's probably not in your pack.
Right.
Huh. Yeah.
Unless it's a box.
Right?
No loose packs.
That's good advice. Good tip. Man, I can't help but think like if there's that many cards still being submitted, you know, the gem rate's got to go up a little bit. That would be the biggest conspiracy ever.
Yeah, and then you know what PSA is gonna do.
So you know, and I guess what are you guys saying about like this card being so iconic? Like people coming into the hobby, at the end of the day, I don't know if people would want to spend $2,000 for a PSA 10. Like I'd be happy with a $200 PSA 9 just so I have it. You know what I mean? Like it's not a flip for me at that. Like this card is not a flip for me. So BGS 9.5 is like just under 500. That's
I think
fine
that's
with me
the
too.
play. That's a good play.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So not the PSA 10. It's a rip. Still at 2,000. All right. Interesting. I wanted to hear your thoughts. So yeah, we'll
That's
see
good.
how.
Yeah.
We'll see. I wonder by the end of next year what the pop count will be in terms of the submissions. It'll be interesting to see that number. All right, let's move on to hobby headlines. So today I thought we would do something a little different and maybe a little more fun, and that's to have a fantasy draft using the top 10. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Using the top 10 collected cards according to PWCC. They put up a list on Twitter recently, so you could check it out there. And I'll read their top 10 in a sec. But since there's the three of us, I added 5 more names to the list to get a list of 15 total so that we can each draft a team of 5 players.
Okay.
All right? So here are the rules, okay? It'll be a snake draft. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to choose the players that by the end of this year, so we're starting in June, so end of this calendar year, in 6 months' time, the person who wins is the one whose team has the highest rate of growth in value. Okay? And how will we determine that? Well, we're going to use the CardLadder Player Index, which takes a selection of key sports cards for each player and assigns it a value. So we're essentially taking their value with their calculation. Then at the end of the year, we'll just take the rate of growth over the past 6 months according to the CardLadder Index for each player on your drafted team, and we'll compare the average rate of growth for our respective teams. Okay? You guys follow?
Yeah, this is interesting, Clark.
I thought it would be fun.
Yeah.
And so essentially, saying this another way, you're trying to create a team or portfolio of players whose cards could give you the highest ROI by the end of the year, starting with today's values. All right, so I'll read the list of the 15 players we get to draft from, and then I'll also give you their rate of growth over the past 2 years to at least give you an idea of how their cards are trending. And that might help you make your decision on who you draft first. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Last thing, when you make your decision, if you could give a brief rationale for why you chose that player or at that pick, so our podcast listeners could hear our thought process to give them some value or at least some entertainment if we just are stuck at a choice. All right, so here is the list. Number 1, most collected, of course, Michael Jordan, not a surprise. And over the last 2 years, his cards, according to CardLadder, has been trending downward, minus 20.15%. Okay. Number 2 on the list is LeBron James, and his card value has been trending downward, minus 46.48%. All right. So just again, like the CardLadder value, it takes into account some of its LeBron's key cards. So I'm sure the exquisite collections there, and
Sorry, what is the value? Like, so I see the value. Like, is it just an index or something that CardLadder made up in terms of like the strength of?
Yeah, I think pricing? It gives you. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but how I take it, like, I didn't give you the CardLadder value, the numeric value, but right. Michael Jordan is right now, it's around 11,806, and LeBron is 32,961.
Right.
Right. And every one of these cards, the CardLadder value starts at 1,000. So it's kind of relative in terms of the growth.
Okay.
Right. Because they all start at 1,000. And I think the higher the number shows, for me, I guess it indicates more like sales volume and also like some of these high-end cards really pumping the number upward. These high-end cards that sell at auctions for ridiculous amounts, right?
Right.
But I'm not going to give you the CardLadder value because it's really relative. But I think the more important number is the trend number.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3 on the list, Tom Brady, minus 37.01% growth over the last 2 years. Number 4, Mickey Mantle. And here's your first positive over the last 2 years, plus 29.93%, probably buoyed by the 1952 Topps sales recently. Number 5, Kobe Bryant, minus 66.82% over the past 2 years. Luka Doncic, number 6, minus 63.21%.
You guys are going to be fighting over him.
You might be surprised. Number 7, Patrick Mahomes, minus 45.1%. Number 8, Babe Ruth, another positive, plus 19.32%. Number 9, Stephen Curry, minus 35.46%. And then rounding out the top 10 by PWCC is Mike Trout at minus 55% over the last 2 years. All right. And the next 5, I was just kind of gauging over Twitter. Like, there was a question like, who are we missing in the top 10? And these are the ones I kind of repeatedly saw. So I kind of put these in the next 5. It's not by PWCC. It's just a judgment call for me. All right. Number 11, I'm putting Lionel Messi. Get a soccer player in there. Minus 66.49%. 12, Wayne Gretzky. Got to include hockey player there. Minus 41.37%. Shohei Ohtani, plus 131.3% over the last 2 years. We were just talking about that in our Friday episode. Tiger Woods, wanted to get the best golfer of all time in there. His card value, minus 27.49% over the last 2 years. And then 15, I want to get one more vintage player, vintage baseball card in there. Jackie Robinson, and that's decreased minus 10.98%.
Man, this is tough. This
really
is
good
really
list.
Tough.
Really good list.
Yeah.
All right.
Really
solid
good
list.
Yeah.
But remember, the goal to win this draft is to get the highest ROI, and of your whole team collectively. All right.
Right.
So let's decide the order of the draft. I have a randomizer here. Okay, and
I wouldn't even
one of
know
you guys
who to pick first.
I know, right? There's no definitive first.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it depends on the goal of the draft, so that makes it a little bit trickier. But okay, someone give me a number between 5 and 10.
7.
8.
I heard 8
You go
first,
7.
so-
You go 7. You go
7?
7. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I was going to share a screen, but you can trust me. I put Clark, Hyung, and John. I'm going to randomize it 7 times,
All
and
right.
then whatever the order is will be the.
We'll put $5 on it too.
$5. I'm in.
I'm just
All
kidding.
right.
I'm just kidding.
We'll put up a slab.
Yeah. A Raz.
You're going to put up your Hiura, Keston Hiura. slide.
Yeah, there you go.
exactly.
I have a pink refractor 10.
Okay. 6 and 7. John is picking first.
Oh no.
Clark is picking second, and Hyung, you're
3rd and
picking
4th.
3 and 4th. Yeah, on the
Okay.
snake. All right.
Not
On the
bad.
turn. Okay. So, Johnny, who are you picking number 1?
Number 1. Okay. There's Shohei who is one of the positive of the 3. So there's 3 positive marks. One is Shohei for obvious reasons. The 2 others are Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle. And I think they're obviously big names within the vintage world. And for Mickey Mantle, yes, I think the 1952 definitely buoys the number, because every time that comes up for sale,
Sure.
it's a record sale, and that probably really skyrockets his value. But with that being said, I like the play on vintage, but there is another vintage name here that is a bit more underrated than the 2 big boys, Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle, and I feel like he's going to get his well-deserved flowers within the hobby soon. So I'm with my number 1 pick, I'm going Jackie Robinson.
Wow.
Ooh.
Did not
Okay.
expect that one.
I know. I thought you were going to pick Babe Ruth for a sec. Jackie Robinson. Okay, number 1 pick. Jackie Robinson. All right. I get the number 2 pick. I'm going to go vintage. I think with this shorter timeline, right? We're just thinking 6 months. I feel like there's a lot of room to still, especially with these modern cards, trend downward. So I think the name of the game for this is trying to not get the most rate of growth change, but try to get the least
Loss.
drop.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. I think that could kill your team if you choose the wrong guy, right? Where it just the bottom drops out by the end of the year. So I'm choosing a vintage guy because I feel like that's a good stable pick. Like you're not going to lose money, and you might not gain a bunch, but you're not going to lose your draft. So I'm going to go with Mickey Mantle.
Oh, interesting. You guys are leaving me with that choice of, taking that vintage, eh? The Babe Ruth.
Hey, it's up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Makes,
But you get 2 picks.
I get
so
2 picks. Yeah. So I'm actually going to go, man, I know Trout's market's really down. Most I've ever seen it, to be honest. So I'm going to go Messi, and then I'm going to go Trout.
Dang.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I think
and basically-
Messi, you'll have an automatic bump, right? Because I think
I'm thinking the timing might work out.
Right, it
because
doesn't include
Messi
his announcement.
coming over
To
too.
Miami?
Yeah, like it's like
That's
how is he gonna do? Realistically, I think he's gonna hold his own
Kill
for
it.
sure.
Yeah,
For me, with the 66% drop off in terms of the hype over the last, with the World Cup and stuff, that was expected. So I think there's a good chance that we're going to see a bump there. Hopefully, it's like he's going down a tier, in my opinion, in terms of his competition. So I think there's opportunity where he could be a superstar in the MLS. And then, Mike Trout, we talked about this. You bought a Bowman Chrome auto pretty low, and I said, $5,000 for a BGS 9 would be kind of like that, kind of like the bottom, almost the bottom. Right. And I don't see, at the end of the day, I know the everybody's gonna say, well, he didn't, he's not winning, right? I still like look at Ken Griffey Jr. Same
Sure.
thing, right? From a player's perspective, there's no doubt that Trout hasn't even lost a beat. He's still swinging it. He's still holding his own. So I'm gonna go with Trout because he's a hobby favorite, and there's a lot of iconic cards that basically it's already sold, like the Superfractor and the Red Refractor of his Bowman Chrome. So I think I'm gonna rely on that to push his values.
Okay. I feel like that's a biased baseball pick from Hyung. I think it could be a mistake, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. It's my turn, right? So it's back to me.
Yep.
I'm playing defense, guys. Babe Ruth, baby.
Yeah. Going all vintage,
portfolio.
Clark's, your eyes lit up when Hyung didn't pick Babe Ruth. I know.
Yeah, you know what? It's a year. To me, it's like Babe Ruth is piggybacking on that Shohei hype. So and the Mantle hype, right? So
right.
Yeah.
That's why it was a trap.
Oh, okay. We'll see. I got real excited when you left Babe Ruth on the board, but for the same reason that I chose Mantle, I'm gonna keep a stable base with my 2 vintage cards.
Right.
Okay, Johnny, the vintage is off the board.
Right. Okay. I like your process of thinking defense. My pick here, I get 2. I'm not sure of the second one, but the first one I'm sure of. And it's a bit of defense. I foresee growth, but at the least I don't see a downside. And for me, the pick is going to be Tiger Woods. With all the live news, Netflix season 2 is going to come, and it's going to be on fire. The first one was a little underwhelming because it was more about developing characters. I think people are going to anticipate the second season being pretty big, and obviously Tiger Woods is the head, image of golf. So Tiger Woods is the pick there. And then the snake, the second pick. Oh, this one is starting to get tough now. I'm going to I don't know when we're going to do this assessment, whether it's going to be 6 months now, so I'm not sure of the timing, but I'm going to take one risk here. I think there's some upside here in terms of growth, and maybe his cards won't grow that much, but it's kind of a defensive play. I can't foresee it going even lower, so I'm gonna go with Patrick Mahomes.
Interesting.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Huh. Whew. I thought you were gonna pick my guy. I hate when that happens in a draft where it's your turn next. You're like right before. Okay, I like that. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. All right, it's my turn. I hate being the middle. I'd rather have the 2 picks.
You're playing defense already, so this is the defensive pick. You're right in the middle. You don't get two picks. You just get one.
Exactly. I'm playing with the cards I'm dealt. Yeah. But I think at this point everything is a slight risk, right? There's no super safe plays now. But depending on the timeline, like we're going to assess, to answer your question, John, we're going to assess by the end of the year. So, come December 31st, we'll see at that time.
Right.
I'm picking a guy that I think can go down in value, but there's a world where it can really skyrocket by the end of the year. It will happen if he wins a Cy Young and an MVP in the same year. So I'm gonna go with Shohei. Although it's increased 131%, I think the timeline is short enough where the bottom won't drop out by the end of this year. Right. So my pick is Shohei Ohtani.
Oh man, end of the year is gonna be off season for football, right? You just screwed me over.
Yeah, that's why now it's a little different.
Oh shoot.
Let me just okay. So it's back to me. I get
Shohei
2.
Ohtani. I'm surprised by that one.
So just to recap, we're halfway through. What's the players left on the board? Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant, Luka Doncic, Stephen Curry, and Wayne Gretzky.
I'm going to go with my first. I get 2, right?
Yep.
I'm going to go Steph Curry.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I like the timing of it too. And collectability of Steph is crazy with very rare cards, like a very limited cards, we'll say. So I like that combination, and he's still relevant. And then I'm going to go actually with Tom Brady.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tom Brady. That? So Steph Curry, Tom Brady. I feel like, the hype of Tom Brady was kind of ridiculous, and you see the downward trend on it, but there's no one that's going to come close to Tom Brady's legacy, in football. So it's one of those things where, to me, Tom Brady's an A type stock, right? You're not, you shouldn't lose on this, especially with his stuff trending almost negative 40%, right? So I like Tom Brady. To me it's safe in terms of timing too. So yeah, we'll go Tom.
All right, I understand that pick. Okay, let's see here. I am going to choose. The reason why I'm choosing this player is I think there's been the major corrections happened already. I'm not saying it can't go down further, but I think the major corrections already happened. And I think future sales of this card, not just his rookie, but his autograph cards, can really buoy his value up. And that's going to be the GOAT, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Off the board.
Oh, I wanted to pick Jordan. Dang it.
You need to pick LeBron.
Oh, don't do that to me. You guys are killing me.
I hope it's the last pick and then you get him.
That could happen. That could very well happen.
Yeah. All right. So you got LeBron, Kobe, Luka, Gretzky. Is that it?
3 basketball, 1 hockey. Yeah.
I really want to pick Gretzky, but I'm not sure about Gretzky because I think Gretzky, in terms of collectability, it's really only the OPG 79. And some could argue, Gretzky's autograph is also a big one, but man, he signs a lot of stuff. Like his autograph is everywhere. So,
oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah. So it's valuable, but Gretzky would be kind of safe, but I don't see a big upside to it. At this point, I got to start swinging for the fence. So. It's not gonna be Gretzky because if it's December, I think basketball season is gonna be in full swing.
Yeah, and
there's gonna be some volatility. I've got to kind of lean on some good performances. I don't know. Would LeBron go to Dallas? Is that too crazy? I think it's too crazy, but could it happen? Maybe. Right. So I'm gonna take that risk. I'm gonna go Luka and LeBron and hope for the NBA season in full swing. To help bump my value.
Okay. Yeah, in December, it's right in the middle of the season, right?
Yeah. So it might capture some of that, NBA preseason value, right?
And you better be cheering hard for the Dallas Mavs to make all the right moves in the offseason.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I think that's pretty risky. Can I be honest? Luka was my last pick. Luka was my last
I understand
one.
it because there's more to come down, right? Like his before it comes up, it's going to come down.
Yeah. So
can I be honest? Clark does it in a very nice way. Can I be honest? Just say it.
I'm just saying. I think John just lost the draft, but we'll see.
Hey, we should all put a slab up for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm down.
Okay, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right. Or we'll talk about it later. Yeah. We could do another draft too on something else and then make it more interesting. But this will be our trial run, I guess. Okay, I got Kobe or Wayne Gretzky. So I guess Hyung's gonna get whoever I don't choose.
Yeah, I guess I get the last draw. I'm okay with both of them. So, Clark, pick your poison.
Oh man, it's just like reverse. You're using reverse psychology on me. I feel like. I feel like there is the one that Hyung really wants. Mind games already. Okay. I just don't see any. I guess I don't see volatility in either of these guys at this, like for the rest of the year at least, right?
Now you can understand why I picked LeBron and Luka.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's you're swinging for the fences there.
Yeah.
But I guess this is kind of my team, right? The safe play. And I think just looking at the drop in percentage so Kobe's lost the most at minus 67%, almost minus 67. It's probably because of the unfortunate timing of his passing, and then that's kind of been 2 years since. And then Wayne Gretzky, you kind of talked about it, John. Just the O-Pee-Chee being his main card, and I don't know if that's going to trend upward at any point. But you know what? I'm going to go with Kobe. I think there's some autographed cards that are out there that might really increase its value, kind of like a mini Michael Jordan. So I'll take a risk there, more of a risk in my opinion. So Kobe Bryant's mine. So Hyung, you got Wayne Gretzky.
That's crazy. Wayne Gretzky is the last pick of the draft.
I know.
Only in this draft.
Only in
is
this
Wayne
draft.
Gretzky,
and that's Hobby Logic.
This is the Hobby Logic draft. Okay, that was fun.
That was fun. We'll see. Yeah.
I love drafts in general. So I'll try to think of other drafts we can do throughout the year. But yeah, we'll check at the end of the year, check the rate of growth percentage, and see who wins. So just to recap, John's team consists of Jackie Robinson, Tiger Woods, Patrick Mahomes, started off strong, and then kind of the wheels fell off with Luka Doncic and LeBron James.
That's what you think. That's what you think. We'll see about that.
Well, yeah, we will see. My team, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani, MJ, and Kobe Bryant. Well, that's pretty solid. And then and then Hyung's team, Lionel Messi, Mike Trout, Stephen Curry, Tom Brady, and Wayne Gretzky.
Nice.
Yeah, good teams.
Yeah, good teams, yeah. It would be tough because I think there's going to be so many factors at play. Like you're mentioning, like rookie cards of Wayne Gretzky. That was one reason I didn't want Wayne Gretzky, to be honest, is very limited in his cards, right? Sure, so it's dictated on that PSA 10 sale. Same with Jordan at the same time, but Jordan's, I think, a little more like desired than Wayne Gretzky in general. So Jordan, I think, was the better pick for sure.
Yeah. Out of our three teams, I'm definitely, my strategy is to lose the least amount of
it looks like that for
dollars.
Sure.
Yeah. So we'll see if that strategy pays off. And yeah, for me, I really like the Messi pick. That's going to be a wild card, I think. For your team,
hopefully.
Especially.
Yeah, I think his market's so down, and I think he needs change. And if he comes and tears it up, it's just like people would be like, "Oh, Messi." Like what
that could be,
thinking.
Miami in the US.
Yeah.
That could be a game changer for sure. So I'm gonna keep a close eye on that too. All right, okay, that was fun. So we'll definitely check on that. Maybe we'll do like a monthly kind of update.
Yeah, it would be
see how our teams are doing. Yeah, we'll post it somewhere, maybe on 5cardguys.com, and then people can follow. Maybe this will become a thing. We'll have more people join.
A whole draft. Host the whole draft. Everybody throws in a slab.
Everyone throws in a slab as an entry fee, and then we'll figure out the prize distribution later. All right. Okay, let's go on to our next segment. It's overrated, underrated. All right, we haven't done this in a while, but I thought we could quickly do another overrated, underrated segment. And the theme for this overrated, underrated segment is different types of short printed cards, SP cards. All right. So the first one for you guys to consider, and this is actually, I can't remember who sent this. It might have been Josh who asked the question before. But the first one is printing plates. Ooh. And we might have done this in the past, but I'm just throwing it out there again. Right. Overrated or underrated as a SP card? Or as a card in general, actually.
I'm going to say it's underrated. Because in the hobby, nobody likes printing plates, but it's a one of one. It's such a cool piece in my opinion. Personally, I have 0 printing plates. Actually, I do have one that I pulled in a break. I don't even know where it is. So that's just to show you how much I care about printing plates. But
that's how underrated it is.
That's how underrated it is. Yeah, like I still think there's there's a play there, like, because it's just a cool piece. If you take away the whole context of how it looks, it's like, hey, this is the actual like printing plate for this color. It's like you collect all four. It's like you got the railroad in Monopoly, you know, the all four railroads. It's one of those. Would you rather have Park Place or the railroads? It's
right.
It's a niche, right? So I'm gonna say slightly underrated.
Okay.
Have we seen the printing plates? Like, for example, Bowman First, Wander Franco. Like, have we seen them sell? I'm sure they sell for a lot.
Oh yeah, they're decent, but not like anywhere near a 1 of 1.
Yeah. I think I might have said underrated last. I'm gonna say overrated this time, and I'm gonna look at it from a different lens.
Okay.
I think printing plates in general, when they trade and they move, it's when a product first releases, right? That's when they start popping up, and that's when people try to sell them off. And obviously the hype of that initial release is going to also hype up the printing plate more than it should. And I think after a number of months or years go by, unless the particular printing card is of a generational star or somebody who's on its way up, generally they kind of get forgotten and they're not desired at all. So for the simple fact that they do trade the most during the initial release, when it's hyped, I'm going to say printing plates are overrated.
Okay. Man, I can't remember what I chose last time too. I might have said it was, I feel like I said it was overrated. I just don't like the look of printing plates. And I think it's funny that you look at it one way, Hyung, but I look at it the other way where it's like, oh, they really play up the 1 of 1, but it's an ugly looking card. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not even like a card for me. So I think I'm gonna stay at saying overrated.
What happens with, like, let's just say you're a Bowman Chrome Trout owner. You're telling me you wouldn't want a Bowman Chrome Trout printing plate? Like, that would be insane.
That'd be pretty crazy.
It's funny you say that.
Iconic.
It's funny you say that because I was like looking at through CardLadder as we were kind of going through this segment, and the 2009 Bowman draft pick magenta printing plate, Mike Trout, sold at Heritage Auction for $99,000. February.
There you
February
go. There's
last
a play.
Year.
There is a play.
Dang.
There is a play.
Yep. And there's a yellow printing plate that sold on Golden July of 2020 for $37,000.
There you go. There's a play.
There's a play for the supreme high-end cards.
I changed back to
But then most of the printing plates are like under $50 too. So for some of them, not even worth that much. So I'm sticking with overrated, unless it's Mike Trout, obviously. All right, next one. Gatorade image cards. So obviously we know the Juan Soto Gatorade image, but there are a bunch more. If you just eBay search it,
I didn't know that.
You're gonna see a lot of
Yeah.
There was one I saw. The reason why I chose this one, there was one of Kyle. I can't even remember. It was like a Baltimore Oriole bench guy, and it was like your classic Gatorade. Like just cut out, Photoshop out Juan Soto and put this guy, and it's the same photo. So anyway, Gatorade image cards.
Bad move by Topps. I'm just saying. Gatorade Soto was the image. It was the sought after, and I was even pissed. They actually have a Stadium Club image with Soto that's similar, but it's kind of like the fake Gatorade bath, right? And then
it's vertical.
Yeah, it's a vertical, exactly. So the iconic 2018 one, they should have just left it at that. It was known as a SSP, and I think you retire that whole kind of image. Obviously, it is a celebration because they're the walk-offs, right? It's on a walk-off, they get the image, but the Soto Gatorade bath is the staple, and I feel like all the other ones will never do it justice. They will never hold value. They're just the collector's piece that me as a collector, I'm not collecting Gatorade baths because of that. Like, to me, there's zero desire at all. Like, but I love the Soto Gatorade bath. So that's the OG. So I'm going to say overrated.
Okay.
You know what they need to come out with? They need to come out with the pie face SSP.
Yeah, and Topps will overdo that too. So,
I had no idea that there were more than one Gatorade baths, and the fact that I learned that right now, I will say overrated. If there is any kind of bump, just because it's another Gatorade path of another player, I'm with Hyung. I stick to the Soto. Like, that's the iconic one. It should have been sort of like a one of one image. Yeah, and I'm with Hyung in that Topps shouldn't have made that imagery across different players. I get it. It's cool. It's an awesome looking image, but yeah, overrated. Don't like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say overrated too. But like, I'm looking through it. It's kind of funny. Mike Trout has one, 2014 Topps, and it's listed right now for $750 PSA 10. Freddie Freeman has one, $500. It's also a variation, PSA 9, 2017 Topps. So I think every year there's a different guy, different player getting doused by Gatorade. So thanks to Topps, it's overrated now. All right. The third one, 2023 Topps Golden Mirror SP cards.
Oh, let me see those golden mirrors really quick. I right off the bat, I'm saying overrated. But
and these were new to the 2023 Topps set when it came out for Series 1
this is the one
year.
where on the back it says SSP?
Yeah.
Yes, SSP. It was great, and now that Series 2 it's out now. They also have Golden Mirror in those sets.
Honestly,
too.
I'm not a fan of the whole SSP, like, actually, putting that out there that it's an SSP, labeling as SSP. I don't mind it with PSA, but on the card, I think it's like kind of like over. I think it's super cool when you're going through a card and then you pull an image variation like an SSP, like a Soto Gatorade bat that has a print run of 300. You don't really know that it's an SSP. You just kind of, pull it. And I think part of that is the SSP, right? It's an alternative image of that card number. So it's like that golden whatever variation. I feel like it's overrated. It's a very new system, and it's the love of the whole term SSP. It's an SSP, and it's like implementing that into modern cards. It's like SSPs were always around. Right. And then there's like SSSP, where it's like super, super short print or whatever you want to do it. You could add as many S's as you want, but that's kind of like the hobby fun, is like finding out, like, okay, in this particular print run, there was only 300 printed, and, doing your research and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of the whole golden mirror, variation, just the labeling. Like, it would be cool if they just left it as a variation.
Okay.
Overrated.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So Hyung's obviously well versed in the originality of the SSP in Topps and stuff like that, and imagery and all that stuff. And you only technically knowing that it's an SP or an SSP by like the little serial code on the bottom. I think I get that, and I think the purists who have been around for a while, who have been ripping packs, that's the way that they've known it. And that's the way that they get that thrill when they find it. So I understand that part. I'm going to go with the other side, because I am relatively newer in terms of coming back into the hobby. And I personally, when I saw the Golden Mirror and I saw that it was labeled SSP, I personally liked that. I liked seeing and knowing this is an SSP rather than having to do some absurd research at first and then trying to find out, hey, can somebody figure this out for me? Is this SSP? You try to look for it on eBay, et cetera, et cetera. So I like it. And I think also it also helps with the collectability and the excitement. Like, people now know what to go for and what to try to collect. And there's like a uniformity sort of in the collection, and a different type of chase than you had before. Because I think when you didn't know what was an SSP, you don't really know what you're looking for. But now there is a type of branding that you're exactly looking for. And I think that also helped the values of other players that may not have had much value, like a Kyle Tucker SSP 50 or SSP, like, doesn't really have value. But the fact that it's one of the, 90 Golden Mirror SSPs that people are trying to collect, now it kind of intrinsically has a bit of a bump because it's a part of a collection that everyone's kind of going after, right? So I like all of that branding, and I'm a fan of it, so I'm going to say underrated. I'm going to go the other way.
Okay. I'll break the tie here. I also like the SSP branding. I don't mind it at all. I'm sure I threw out some SSP cards when I first started collecting tops. It's like, oh, this card looks a little different, but probably not worth anything. But yeah, and it's hard for me to see that code at the bottom. So I appreciate the SSP branding, but I don't like that the golden mirror. Like I believe there's an SSP golden mirror for each card in the set. Right? Like it's essentially it's an alternate set. So I rather have it for like a select player. I don't know how they used to choose which players got SSP.
Yeah,
maybe
there weren't a lot. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Right,
there was
like-
one
like
for
limited.
every card. That's crazy.
I think there is, yeah, this year. So someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure
It's like a
that's
full
the fact.
subset.
Yeah, that's a
Or like a
Right.
set.
That's a monster set. Holy.
Yeah, and so yeah, for that reason, I think it's overrated just to have like an alternate set. I rather keep the branding, but just make it limited to certain players.
Yeah.
With some really cool card photo or art. To make it a SSP. So that's why I'm saying it's overrated because it's just for every card is too much. Okay, I got two more. This card is a parallel in the top set. Number to 25, all right? It is the Memorial Day camo parallel.
I'm going to say underrated. It gets no love. It's numbered to 25. Where I think it really took steam was 2018, specifically Soto and Acuna, probably one of the most expensive Memorial Day camo probably sales. I haven't even seen one in so long, but I think they're beautiful cards because we talk about 2018 set all the time. It's where the full background is, the camo, and same with Tatis. I think Tatis camo is a beautiful card in 2019. It's the whole card again, and 2020 started going border. So I think it lost its love there. But I think based on the love it gets, because obviously Independence Day and the black parallel get a lot more love. They're numbered to 67 and 76. So they get a lot more love in general, whereas numbered to 25 and 50 Father's Day, Mother's Day, they don't get as much love. So I'm going to say underrated on the camo.
Okay.
I think even Mother's Day and Father's Day get more love than the camo.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is easy for me. I'm going to say underrated too. I personally don't like the camo, and I can certainly see why it's underrated, or the pricing doesn't necessarily fit with a numbered out of 25. I think they made a mistake using camo as a numbered out of 25. They should have went with like gold foil or something like that instead of making gold foil like almost like a base parallel. But anyways, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall it is underrated because let's be honest, at the bottom line, it's numbered out of 25. When you go deeper into the future for some of these cards and these players start to become iconic or Hall of Fame trajectory, like let's just put Shohei as an example, and you see his camo out of 25. It's very rare for you to see that camo out of 25 appear.
Sure.
And I think because of that rarity in the future, there is big opportunity. If you can pick it up cheap early, even though people don't want it, later on people start wanting rarity. Like it's almost like they before they didn't want it because they didn't like the look, but in the future I feel like that kind of starts to go away and they're just happy with having some sort of super rare version parallel of an iconic image or flagship image of that Hall of Fame player. So I think it has huge potential in the long run if that player pans out into Hall of Fame form. So yeah, underrated.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm going the other way. I'm going to say it's overrated. I know it's numbered 25, but it's one of those things where we just have so many parallels. Like it's like the equivalent of red lava or blue lunar. It's still numbered to 150. Oh, it's still numbered to 5.
Or vintage stock out of 99 is
parallels.
probably like a similar comparison.
Exactly. So, but I will put an asterisk. Other than the 2018 Topps update set, where Hyung, you were mentioning the camo was the whole card. Like that looks sick. But like the Wander Franco, like I just saw a listing for that. It's just a border. It kind of seems
has
cheap
just like
to
a
me.
little green specks.
little green specs, and like 2017 tops, I saw the Aaron Judge where he's kind of jumping. I think you have one, Hyung, where he's jumping by the fence.
Yeah,
on defense.
yeah.
And the camo is like there's a small slither of a triangle at the bottom of the border.
Oh man.
Because it's borderless, right? The card itself. Right. So you only see it at the bottom. And that's the only differentiator in terms of what color parallel it is. So other than 2018 where the whole background is the camel design, I just think it's overrated in general.
I sent you a link just now on 2019 Tatis camo. I just want you to take a look at this card and tell me it's not beautiful.
2019.
It's in the group chat.
Yep, I see it. Yeah, that looks nice. Yeah, you see it more prominently.
It's very prominent, full card, and it's just like San Diego has the camo jersey too as part of their uniform. Like that's like known for San Diego too, right? The camo SD. So I thought it was a cool card. But anyways.
Okay, 2018 and 2019. That's it. All right. Last one for this segment. National Landmarks World Cup cards.
You know my answer. I'm gonna say underrated.
Okay.
Super underrated. I'm gonna say super underrated because of how. Well, I'm just talking specifically World Cup. Are you talking World Cup national landmarks? Is there any more national landmarks other than?
I think that's
2018?
it. I think they only come out of the.
So
the Prism
okay,
World
here's
Cup.
why. Okay, I'm gonna quickly just Google Prism World Cup soccer.
Yep.
Okay, and let's see. It is for a hobby box. It's $3,750 US. Okay, for a hobby box.
Wow.
The national landmarks are a case hit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how many national landmarks are there? There's like 28 or something like that. I don't know how many, but there's a lot. So you're talking one in whatever case you're going to hit that player. So we all love Sonny. The Sun Heung-min National Landmark PSA 10. This is why I said this is, in my opinion, a very valuable card because the amount that you have to rip of this product to get one of those cards is insane, right? So it's like if you do the math and see the probability of that alone, I think national landmarks become super underrated in terms of what they sell for. Some, and that we bought kind of like on the high end and on the hype, right? So I think when the dust settles and there's like raw opportunities of these landmarks, even with Messi, Ronaldo, like all these cards, I think they're a great like long-term play in terms of the 2018 like set is because it's so desired with Mbappe too, right?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I am also going underrated, and I think based on the fact that this is a case hit that only comes out once every 4 years, right? So I think that will also help in not oversaturating the market like we've kind of seen with like Downtown and Kabooms and stuff like that. So I think national landmarks will continue to stay a little bit more exclusive, a little bit more rare in terms of year to year. So I mean, even objectively, they look nice. They got the similar Downtown type of imagery, but you're talking about landmarks from your national country. Like, I mean, how it doesn't get any cooler than that, right? So if you're collecting Argentinian players and there's like usually it's Messi, but if there's somebody else and it's a national landmark, I mean, that's awesome. Like for us personally, Sonny, and then I can't remember the guy's name from this year, but those would be two huge collectibles for Koreans, right? So yeah, underrated. I like it.
All right. I was going to say overrated, but then Hyung changed my mind, and John, you just confirmed it too. So I'm going to say underrated because of the odds of it. Like when you're saying it's a case hit, I was thinking in my head, yeah, so are home field advantage, okay? And there's a lot of them around. So maybe I'm bitter because I'm collecting supposedly case hits of home field advantage for Topps baseball. But the reason why I put this up there is because I was wondering if like national landmarks is getting into that territory where it's like Downtown. Do you know what I mean? Like there's so much hype when the hobby was really
the insert hype.
2021. Yeah. and then like just way too much hype, and it's kind of like the dust is settling now. But I think you guys make a good point in terms of the actual rarity of it, and that it comes once every 4 years. We forget about that too, and so yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love my Sonny card. Never going to sell it, and like it's on display right now in my house. So
which one is that? You have the National Landmark too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
the same one you have.
So how many did we?
I'm
did we
the
take
only
down
one.
out of the...
I'm the only one left out.
So we have 3 of them.
I think you guys have 3 of them. Yeah,
3.
Roy's got one.
Out of
I think there's 15 or 16.
14? Okay, we're working on it.
And I think Hannah.
Hannah collects.
Handle?
Yeah.
Hannah collects.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
has one.
collects. Yeah.
So that's
So
4.
we know where 4 is.
Yeah.
And she ain't selling it. I know she ain't selling it.
And I'm sure half of them are in Korea, in South Korea.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. We should. I always have this idea where like we should try to track where each one is, and then just start an exclusive club.
I like it. I'm in. Sign me up.
It's really NFTs kind of died down, but it's the idea of an NFT. Like you have this digital collectible. It's the same thing, except we have an actual PSA 10 slab of this one card, and this is your membership pass essentially.
I like it. I'm in.
I'll work on it. We'll have a secret world meeting somewhere. Meet and greet with Sonny. I'll arrange it somehow. All right, that was another fun edition of Overrated, Underrated. We'll do it again in a future episode. All right, let's end off the show with our regular weekly segment we call Pick One. And if you're new to the show, this is when we each put up 2 cards, and then we debate which one we would rather invest in. And we used to give each other like a quick heads up of what we're going to talk about in the show, but we're just starting today. We're going to hear it for the first time as we're recording. So it's really our gut feel on which one we're going to choose.
Yes,
right? So,
yes. Okay.
Start things off, and then we'll see what we do.
All right. So since we talked about Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie cards a lot in this previous episode, okay, you're going to buy that PSA 10 for $2,000 or whatever it is, $1,800, okay? Pop 4,000. Or you have to pick one, okay? Or you go the same card, 1989, Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. BGS 10 for $7,000. Are you going to drop $7,000 on it? It's a pop 114. So you're going to drop the $7,000 on a pop 114 BGS 10, or are you going to drop the $1,800 on a pop 4,000 PSA 10?
1,800.
You got to pick one.
1,800 easy. I don't think the premium's worth it. I think whoever's getting it, it's going into their personal collection because this is, this was the iconic card. And like Clark was saying, like even for our price range, we may not even care about PSA 10. We'll be like, yeah, I'm good with a PSA 9 for my collection, right? And I think higher end collectors, just knowing that they have the perfect version, quote unquote perfect version, PSA 10, that's usually good enough. I don't even understand why the BGS 10 price is like that. That's a bit too crazy. If the BGS 10 was like 3,500,
okay, put it into perspective. I'll put it into perspective. Just throwing this out there. Derek Jeter's PSA 10 is a pop 21.
Yeah, the foil.
So a pop 21, and what did it sell for?
144 or something like that, like the top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So BGS 10 Griffey, pop 114, 7,000. It's not way out there.
No, it's not. Saying. But this is like such a blah, like a base card, right? Like the Derek Jeter's like an SP foil. There's something about chasing the perfection in that chipping foil, right? It's almost like getting a perfect PMG. Like it's just unheard of. So you're willing to pay that astronomical price to have the perfect version, right? But this is like a base.
Good point.
White border card. Like I don't know. It's different. So yeah, PSA 10 for me.
Yeah, this is an easy one. I'm with Johnny. Definitely just go with the PSA 10. Like it's on principle, I'm never buying a BGS 10 card unless it's like
that would be buying the grade.
Exactly, right? And like in terms of value, like I was looking on CardLadder, it sold for $23,000 the BGS 10, and now it's going for $7,000.
Right.
I don't think it's ever going to go back up to $23,000 anytime soon. So and I'm really getting it for my own PC, and that's an easy one for me. PSA 10, and if you gave me the choice for PSA 9, I'm choosing PSA 9.
Interesting.
Out of curiosity, is there a black label Griffey?
No, there isn't.
Ooh, because if there's a black label,
there isn't. No.
Then Johnny's like, I'm all in on the black label.
Buy the grade, not the card.
I think you made a point earlier that this is kind of like the only card, like it's just a base card. But I think that's what makes it so scarce. And these rare cards, you say, if you had a choice in a Michael Jordan Flair PSA 10 versus a PSA 9, why would you get the 10 then? Right? If you're just saying, well, I could have a PSA 9 for cheaper, but this is a case where, hey, this is a lot more rare card. And the Griffey's a different card, because if you look at the pop report, PSA 8 and PSA 9s are the most common. So this is the supply thing. This is why PSA 9s sell for $200 versus $2,000 for a PSA 10 versus $7,000 for a BGS 10. And for me, with Griffey and this card in particular, I'm actually going to go BGS 10. I don't mind spending extra on something so rare of one of the greatest players and most iconic people in the game. It's no different than getting that SP foil Jeter, with a pop of 21, or a Jordan with a low pop, or a Gretzky PSA 10 with a low pop, because there's no other option really, especially in the iconic cards. So for me, that BGS 10 is a special card because the PSA 10s are too common. 4,000 people are going to keep on submitting. I know BGS are going to be pretty tight with their pop control. There's not too many more BGS 10 showing up. So I'm going to go BGS 10, even though it's like way more expensive. If I had to choose one, that's what I'm going to go with.
Wow. Interesting.
I just don't trust the grading companies, man.
Oh man,
that's.
But then you could say that with everything. It's like, oh, here we go. Here's the Gretzky PSA 10. Oh, I don't trust PSA.
That's true. All right. Yeah, it made me think for sure. Okay, Johnny, you want to go next?
Yeah. So we're going. Again, we're sticking to that GOAT list that we did before the draft. Steph Curry rookie Topps Chrome Refractor. BGS 9 sold pretty recently for 14 grand. BGS 9.5 Min Gem sold for 14 grand, believe it or not. Versus
Topps Chrome Refractor. So number to 500. Yep. Yeah.
Versus LeBron James rookie Topps Chrome Refractor BGS 9.5 recently sold for around 12 grand.
Ooh.
Steph's pop is like, I want to say it's like in the 90s, maybe like 99, 95. And then the LeBron is like low 400s. 12 grand versus 14 grand.
Which one's 14 grand?
The Steph.
Oh, for me, it's easy. Steph Curry. In this market, anything numbered trumps everything else. And, I remember saying on a previous episode, I would love to have a LeBron James Topps Chrome Refractor, since the prices are coming down. It's still expensive, but it's to the point where like, oh, maybe you could sell a few cards and it's to the point. But even now I'm like, do I really want it? It's non-numbered and it makes me think in terms of like how much further it can go down, because how many are there actually? So at least with Steph Curry, it's numbered to 500. That's pretty good. And if it's an extra 2K, not that I have an extra 2K lying around, but relatively speaking, yeah, I would rather pay that for the Steph Curry card.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Clark on this. One, I rather Steph Curry as a player invest over LeBron. I like the pop count over LeBron, and I like the scarcity over LeBron. So for that reason, I'm going Steph Curry. Not as polarizing. LeBron's market's so volatile. It seems like one day everybody, loves him, and then the next day it's like everybody craps on him, and So I'm gonna go Steph Curry. I think it's just longevity wise, it's a safer bet as well, and yeah, I think it's just a lot more scarce too.
Yeah. Yep, it's a sweep. I thought I could maybe capture you guys with LeBron, but you guys know what I was going to pick from the very beginning.
Well, yeah, we know your answer. Yeah. And you have LeBron. I have Curry.
Yeah.
In your draft? Yeah.
Yeah, it's an easy one. I mean, Steph is not as polarizing, if at all. He's very collectible, very likable, on his way to the Hall of Fame, on his way to possibly top 10 overall, all time. And with that pop count, it's a no-brainer. Even the fact that it's at 14 grand, I think for high-end collectors, I feel like it's a bit of a steal, to be honest.
I agree. All right, good one. I guess the one problem with us not sharing in advance, like there might be overlap because my pick one is Steph Curry. Oh, all right, but it's okay. A little bit different. Actually, yeah, it's a little different. The Stephen Curry, the 2009 Topps Gold, numbered to 2009, right? PSA 7, okay, $2,500, or a Stephen Curry, the Bowman 48, the one that I like, white border, also numbered to 2009, a BGS 9.5 sold for $2,400. So let's say they're both $2,500. Okay, right. So the Topps Gold, PSA 7, $2,500. The Bowman 48 rookie, BGS 9.5 for the same amount.
White? Was it white or blue Bowman?
White border.
White border. Yep. And it's numbered?
To 2009. Both numbered to 2009.
Man, the answer would be white because it's you get your BGS 9.5 and man, I do like the gold better. Like flat out card for card, but that PSA 7 is a little kick in the nuts. You know what I mean? Compared to that BGS 9.5.
It's Topps though. Some people like Topps over Bowman too.
Yeah, but I think that Bowman card is a pretty strong card too. I don't think it's normally I would say Topps Gold just because the history of Topps Gold is a lot. But I think with this card in particular, with the Steph Curry, I'm going to go with the BGS 9.5 white. Because I think the Bowman card is an iconic card in itself, so I don't think you're going to lose too much value on that side. Obviously, the Topps Gold is the card you want, but the grade is... I'm buying grades lately, you know, on older cards, because that's what builds the scarcity, right? We have parallels in modern cards that we can build scarcity, True. But back in the day, there's not many ways to build scarcity, so this is the way you stand out from the rest. So I'm going to go the BGS 9.5 white Bowman.
Yep.
Okay.
You know what we always preach? Buy the grade, not the card. So it's Bowman 9.5 for me. You know what, to be honest, hearing that the PSA 7 of the gold paper going for $2,500, that I didn't expect it to be that expensive, to be honest. That's I feel like that's a little overpriced. Like a PSA 7, that's pretty, I don't know. Maybe I'm not aware of how many exist in the wild. Maybe they're just super rare in general, right? And people are even going to go after like a PSA 6 or really beat up raw. I don't know. I haven't been I don't think any of us have really been paying attention to the Steph Curry paper gold market. But that PSA 7, it's a little too ugly for me. I'd for sure rather take the grade on the other side. BGS 9.5. Obviously, the Bowman is not as iconic, and it's a little bit of a sleeper. I know, Clark, you've always been on that card. I personally love the look. So it's an easy one. It's a 9.5.
Yeah. It's going to be a sweep. Actually, there's one on auction that's ending tonight. BGS 9.5 is at $1,225. It's probably going to go over for $2K. But I'm tempted because you guys are talking about like choosing BGS 9.5 for this Bowman. So we'll see.
Is it a min gem?
But it's a min gem, yeah. The centering is the 9.
Centering is 9.
So yeah, maybe I probably won't bid on it, but I'm loved watching it anyways. But it's a nice card. But that being said, I've been kind of looking at the tops, like, you know, because the prices of tops rookie cards have been not coming down a lot, but, you know, I'm just always curious to see if there's those odd deals, you know what I mean? And, but the one thing that bothers me about the Topps paper gold is knowing that there's a chrome gold, you know, like, I don't know why it bothers me, but the chrome gold is obviously so much nicer. But if the chrome gold didn't exist, you're like, the Topps gold is, nice alternative, a nice, cards to go for. But knowing that the Chrome Gold exists, which I will never be able to afford, but it's still out there. I'm just not feeling the cheaper version of the Topps Gold card. So yeah, there you go. It's another sweep. All right, I like this. I like this new pick one where we just got to go with our gut feeling.
Yeah.
And then, we might change our mind tomorrow, but whatever. That's the end of our episode today. Thanks again for all our listeners and subscribers tuning in. We'll have a brand new episode for you guys next Tuesday. It's next Tuesday. And we'll see you then. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.